Looking for alternatives to the big two? Wondering what's new this new comic book day? I am Dodgy from Comic Crusaders, and I'm going to take you on a journey through indie comics with this episode of Spitfire. Before we take the ride, please click like and subscribe to get more from Comic Crusaders. Now, let's go. So what I'm going to cover right now are the Spitfire's licensed honorable mentions. This covers like TV, movies, video games, etc. So we're going to cover Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the IDW Collection number 13. Then we've got Godzilla, Monsters and Protectors number 4. Firefly, Brand New Verse number 5. My Little Pony, Transformers, The Magic of Cybertron number 4. Sonic the Hedgehog number 42. And James Bond, Agent of Spectre number 5. And Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 9. And Rick and Morty presents a Hotel Immortal number 2. We did cover number 1 the last episode, which was only a week ago, so they must be bringing out these issues, some of them periodically a week apart, which is quite amazing. Now we're going to cover Ablaze, and I always get excited when I see this logo because I'm thinking the Cimmerian. Well, you're pleased to know that I do have the Cimmerian here, which is hardcover volume 2. The Visions of Robert E. Howard, Conan Uncensored, collects 2 stories from the people of the Black Circle and the Frost Giant's daughter. This is a must-have for Conan fans. This actually just retells the story as was originally told by Robert E. Howard. Obviously, the writers will put their own input in, but very, very minimal to the degree that it stays true to the original story. Then we're going to move on to Absolute Comics, which they have only one title coming out this week, and that is I Make Boys Cry 2, from the publishers of the very successful Kickstarter, The White Widow. This carries over from the White Widow universe, so it does tell a story about basically the White Widow upsets a few people, and eventually there are some changes made to the authority that is fighting her. So that's primarily what this story is about. Then we move on to Aftershock Comics, and they have a couple of titles coming out this week, one of which is Project Patron number 4, a superhero title about a legendary superhero named Patron who is replicated by the UN. And when do the people or the general public find out? Who would know? And then we've got Silver City number 3, a supernatural occult title. A new roughneck arrives in Silver City. How will she cope? Silver City is a very unique city, gritty place where the sun never rises. It's almost like an all-night party, and I guess there'll be no time for hangovers. And then we've got Ahoy Comics, who only have one title coming out this week, and that is The Second Coming, Only Begotten Son number 3, an action-adventure comedy title. A religious-themed business hires Jesus into its operations. Very interesting. And then we move on to Awa Upshot, and they have one title also coming out this week, and that is Majorie Finnegan, Temporal Criminal number 3 of 8, an action adventure by legendary writer, Garth Ennis, partnered with the head named Tim. Marge is just looking to have a good time, which means trouble. So it looks definitely like something that Garth Ennis would write, and it's nice to see some original content made by him as well. And then we move on to there's another variant cover by for Marjorie Finnegan. It's a very nice one actually. I love the T-Rex look to it. So it's very, very offbeat and very funny. Then we got Black Mask, who have a few titles coming out this week. One of which is Destiny New York number 5, double-sized finale, and everything comes together for Gia and Logan in this drama fantasy LGBTQ title. So it's very popular, a very popular alternative, I must say. And then we've got Godkiller Tomorrow's Ashes number 1. Look at this beautiful cover. You gotta check that out. It's very, very nice. This is a sci-fi punk rock fantasy that will blow your mind. I judge it by the art right here. It's almost doing that just by looking at it. Then we've got Everfrost number 2, a fantasy story involving rival clans. Written by a good friend of mine, Ryan K. Lindsay. This has a Game of Thrones feel to it. And then we've got Boom Studios that have a few titles coming out for us. One is a 1 Cent Future trade paperback volume 3, a fantasy story which involves Arthur and Merlin. So it's very, very old British, written by Kieran Gillen. This collects stories from issues number 13 to 18. Boy, you gotta love that cover. Look at that. It's very, very nice. And then we've got Proctor Valley Road number 5. Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon. We've got Save Yourself number 2, a fantasy series about magic. Gigi, along with her brother-in-law Sean and an alien named Mia, have been ushered to the Cosmic Federation HQ. And there's another variant cover there for you. And then we've got Proctor Valley Road number 5, a horror series co-written by industry legend Grant Morrison. 4 teenage misfits need to find out what haunts their home, and then you will see a bunch of variant covers here. And then we've got The Many Deaths on Layla Starr, supernatural series with humanity on the verge of discovering immortality. The avatar of death is fired and relegated to the world below to live out the now infinite days of 20-something-year-old Layla Starr in Mumbai. And then we see a series of variant covers here as well. I just love seeing diversity in some of these characters, and you will see more further on. Then we've got Carter of Mars number 1, Edgar Rice Burroughs creations in one title. So we see 2 of them here. One, obviously from the Mars storylines. This is actually written by Dan Ablett. So Will Deja and John's love withhold during their war. So obviously the lovers, but also fighting each other. So look at that beautiful art piece there. There's a few variant covers to tickle your fancy. And then we've got Vengeance of Vampirella number 20. Vampirella is still going strong in 2021. This version was originally written in the early 1990s. Could it be Harris or Chaos were the publishers back then? Lord knows. But the original writer, Tom Snigalski, is back at the helm. So the original creator back in the 90s is actually writing it today, which is quite amazing. And then we see some variant covers, as you would expect from Dynamite. And now we have Heavy Metal. So Heavy Metal only just brought out the Heavy Metal magazine this week, number 308. Last week they had 2 floppies out for us. So this is actually ongoing since 1977, still going strong, which is great. But this book, this magazine contains stories by George C. Romero, Ron Mars, Brian Lindsay, Matt Medley, Dave Irwin, Armitano, Sebastian Perez, German Dons, and Diego Yapur. Apologies if I'm butchering these names, but definitely worth checking out if you're looking for something very, very different. Then, another variant cover. IDW have brought out a couple of books this week, one of which is Yuseki Yojimbo number 21 by legendary creator Stan Sakai. Still going strong. Creator EPHK. The interiors in this look absolutely gorgeous. I had a look on Comixology just to get a little idea of what this is about, because it's new to me and probably new to a lot of you guys. So definitely check it out on Comixology if you just want to see the first few pages before picking this up at your local comic book store. Looks absolutely gorgeous. And now we've got Jupiter's Legacy Requiem number 2 from the mind of Mark Millar. Check out the Netflix series in case you missed it. Basically, it's telling us a very similar story. They shorten his voices that lead him and his friends to a mysterious island and change their lives forever. Obviously, if you've seen the series, you kind of get an idea what that's about. And then, yeah, there's another few variant covers. You kind of expect this nowadays. And then we got The Ascender number 17, a cosmic title from Jeff Lemire. 2 titles of his this week. Art by Dustin Nguyen. Starseed Part 3. Will our heroes get themselves out of trouble? I mean, obviously, this actually looks pretty fun. I must say, I'm a bit of a fan of cosmic titles. And then we've got The Walking Dead Deluxe number 19. This is just like the X-Men classics and Marvel tales starring Spider-Man back in the late 80s to early 90s. It's just a retell of the old stories with reprints, I must say. Reprints, but done in color. And as you can see, this one is focused on Michonne, and you'll see a whole list of variant covers. You see the Liefeld one there. And then we've got Mother of Madness number 1 of 3. It's a 3-part miniseries, or as you can see, Mom, M-O-M. It's actually co-written by Emilia Clarke of Game of Thrones fame. So if you're looking for something different, I mean, it looks very intriguing. It's a comedy title for mature readers. And as you can see, there's a load of variant covers there. Heaps. And now we've got Undiscovered Country number 14, co-written by Scott Snyder. In a world that was once the US, we have heroes that continue to explore these boundaries. 14 issues in. There are, I believe there'll be a couple of trade paperbacks already. So if you just want to jump in now but want to catch up, you could probably just pick up the trades before jumping in. So there's another variant cover for you. And then we've got Homesick Pilots, based in the 1990s, about a band that goes missing and lands in a haunted house. No one knows how they got there. This is a horror title for horror fans. And then we've got Shadecraft number 5, another horror title. There's about a character named Zadie, who's scared of her own shadow. From the mind of Joe Henderson, showrunner of Netflix's Lucifer. So obviously you got a bit of that, dark humor there, with definitely with loads of horror. And as you can see, there's an image of her shadow, I believe. Very nice looking cover, that one. And then we've got Compass number 2 of 5, presented by Greg Rucka. This is written by Robert McKenzie and Dave Walker, with art by Justin Greenwood. It's about an Islamic adventurer, Shahida Amin, and her amazing journey fighting Mongol warriors. So it's great. As I mentioned before, we're getting a bit of demographic characters in here, a bit of new storytelling, I must say. And then we've got Deadly Class number 47, a wild successful series by Rick Remender about a school of assassins. If you need to catch up, there will be also trades available. I believe there might have been a TV series about it. I'm not 100% sure, because I'm not really that familiar with a lot of the Image titles, but if there is, please let me know in the descriptions below. There's another variant cover. And then we've got Philadelphia, the horror smash hit by Rodney Alexander and Jason Sean Alexander. Looks really intriguing. Actually is a very nice cover. And then we got Chew number 6 by John Layton. Unlike her brother, police officer Tony Chew from Chew, that's CHEW, he gets psychic impressions from what he eats. Saffron Chew, this particular character, learns secrets from what she eats. Another intriguing thing, unlike her brother who's a police officer, she's actually the criminal. So imagine their family dinners. That'll be quite interesting. And then we have Time Before Time number 3, a sci-fi crime book based in 2140, so the year 2140. This is a time of no future, and our protagonists, Tatsuo and Nadia, turn to organized crime to escape the world, but then at what cost? So it seems quite interesting that they have to go that route to, break the law to get out of where they are. And then another variant cover, and now we have Radiant Black number 6. Nathan Burnett is down on his luck, having just turned 30, the poor guy, and working 2 jobs is quite tough. And then he discovers the ethereal cosmic radiant, and his life has changed forever. I believe that is him underneath that costume. Variant cover. And then we have Home number 4. This is an emotional story about a kid named Kwan and his mother looking for a home in the United States. They get separated. Comes face to face with Robin Hood and the rest of the merry men. So let's see what happens. It's quite interesting, as I mentioned in the last episode, that we've got a very different angle here, that we're focusing on the sheriff rather than Robin Hood like previous reincarnations of stories. And then we've got a publisher that wasn't mentioned in the last week's, and quite a new publisher actually, Red 5 Comics, and they have a title coming out called The Dark Age. To it, because I think they don't want to really reveal too much in these, especially from a smaller publisher. But great to see that a Kickstarter is making it big time in previews, so hence why we can get it in our local comic book stores for New Comic Book Day. And finally we have Zenescope Entertainment, and this is Tales of Terror Quarterly Game Night #1, a 72-page supersized edition. This is a game like no other. It's not your typical, Monopoly or chess. Something very, very sinister and dark. And here we see a variant cover. And that is it, folks. Thank you so much for joining me for New Comic Book Day Spitfire Indie Edition. Want to make sure that we shout out to all the indie creators out there and all the publishers. So I know I didn't really cover the writers and creators, otherwise this would be a twice as long video. But thank you so much for joining me. Remember to click like and subscribe to get more from Comic Crusaders as well as Indie Crusaders. Want to make sure that you check us out at comiccrusaders.com. And until then, I'll see you all next week.
Thank you. We hope you've enjoyed this Comic Crusaders production. For real-time news on all things pop culture, please feel free to follow us on social media. For articles, original content, merchandise, and more, please go to www.comiccrusaders.com. Also follow along with all of the websites of the Comic Crusaders family. As always, if you like this content, please click like and subscribe to the Comic Crusaders YouTube channel.